Performance TV, coming to you from Borla Commerce Park.
Welcome back to Performance TV. Whether you have a truck, an SUV, or the classic car like you see behind us, zMAX Micro-lubricant, you have a product for them. And George, this is something that can really help out anybody, even if they have an airplane, if it's a piston-type motor.
Any piston engine, any gas or diesel engine, any oil, any fuel, zMAX Micro-lubricant works.
A lot of folks may be familiar with seeing these packages in the store. They may have already used the products. And George, you have something that can really help out the diesel folks, like this Excursion we see behind us.
We definitely do. That being a turbocharged and a diesel, we have different issues. They're a little bit stronger because of the varnish buildup that the heat from the diesels build as far as when they shut down real quick. The turbocharger can have buildup on the turbocharger itself. The injectors, the oil feeds from the crankcase, therefore they can get varnish in them. And if your truck starts to run a little bit rough, then try zMAX in it. It's a very inexpensive fix. It'll probably save you a lot of money in replacing the injectors.
Yeah, instead of taking a third mortgage out on your house to fix it, you could try something like this. And with the zMAX product, George, it doesn't take very much of the product. You have excellent instructions. It's not like you're pouring the whole bottle in right to start with.
That's right. I mean, the 2-pack is the best starter kit for particularly automotive vehicles or an SUV that's the normal oil capacity, usually up to about 6 quarts. And that's because you put 12 ounces in the engine crankcase and 12 ounces in the fuel. And the oil and fuel is a carrier to get the product to the metal parts where it soaks into the metal. It doesn't change the API rating of oil, and it doesn't change anything about the fuel. Those are just carriers. And for the fuel product, particularly on older cars, you know, they don't have the stainless lines to handle the ethanol, and therefore it'll help prevent the corrosion and stuff that builds up from ethanol. You've heard of ethanol damage, and so it really helps the older cars with the steel fuel lines.
You know, because we talked about the diesel, and when we see the zMAX product for that, what about something that we're not driving very often, like the car we see behind us?
That's perfect, because with a classic car, which you usually store except when you're going to a car show or something like that, so when you're getting ready to put it away at the end of fall, it's best to treat the car again with the engine and the fuel treatment and drive it around, make sure the engine gets up to operating temperature. Maybe when you leave your last car show or something, or you just changed your oil to put it away in the garage, just make sure you have zMAX in it, and then when you start it up, you don't get a dry start. You know, you have lubricity already on the cylinders and everything, so you don't get damage to that engine. And when a car sits a long time, when you first start it up, there's a ton of water in that crankcase.
You got that right.
You know, it's just a condensation buildup from the cold metal. So you want to make sure you have some lubricity to protect the camshaft and the lifters. And that's where Carroll Shelby always came in, and that's why he used it for all his museum cars and all his cars, because they didn't start them up very often, and he didn't want to damage the engines.
Sure, and you know, something else that you may not use very often, and that would be, hey, your airplane. And zMAX, you even have a special product for those airplanes.
Right, it's called AvBlend, and it's manufactured, of course, by zMAX, and is for any piston aircraft engine. For the 4-cylinder engine, you use one 12-ounce bottle. For the 6-cylinder engines, you use 2. And best time is right after an oil change. And it's always the best time to use any of the zMAX products is right after an oil change, so you can get the maximum life out of it.
That, and you even have a product for guns as well. Now, this is something we would probably find more online.
That's right. The Bolt Lube by zMAX and the Borg conditioner and cleaner. The nice thing, if you got a bolt rifle getting ready for hunting season or anything like that, then you want to clean it with the zMAX product, because it stays on there. It doesn't matter how cold you go out into the wilderness, and it doesn't matter how much heat, and also it's not gummy.
Sure.
And that's the main thing.
Yeah, and that's definitely something we don't want to have dealing with our guns. So whether you have a classic car or a diesel truck or even a great big semi, zMAX has a product for you. And when you look in your local stores and you pick up your zMAX product for the next year, look for the mail-in rebate. Make sure to send in your original receipt and the UPC code on the bottom of the box. and take advantage. We'll have more for you coming up just minutes away here on Performance TV.